Hi everyone, welcome to Clone Compounding, where our mission is to learn from others in order to achieve financial independence. The world of investing can be quite challenging, and most investors get lost and confused about how to think about investments, particularly about how to value a company or an investment. In this video, we'll be covering our top 3 takeaways from an interview with Professor Aswath Damodaran. Professor Damodaran is respected globally and is known as the Dean of Valuation. All across the globe, experts look at Professor Damodaran to understand how to value a company or an investment. One prominent trait you can't take away from him is that he speaks his mind and can be controversial on topics. This is an interview between Professor Damodaran and William Green, the award-winning financial journalist. Green, who is the author of Richer, Wiser, Happier: How the World's Greatest Investors Win in Markets and Life, is a wonderful business journalist. Okay, without further delay, let's dive in! Takeaway 1. Importance of unscheduled time. Let's ask ourselves this. What comes to mind when you have an unscheduled time? If you are like me, you are asking, what unscheduled time? If I'm not doing some activity, I'm mostly on my phone, engrossed in one of the many apps on it. I don't have a planned idle time. Well, based on the interview, Professor Damodaran believes it's so important to have unplanned time in your calendar to just reflect and let your thoughts flow in. He said he has a time set aside every single day, which he has tagged daydreaming time. He said most people think of daydreaming as a waste of time, but he believes that this is the time you can actually open your mind up to what you can learn and do differently. He values these moments because he thinks they make a difference in his life. Speaking further, he said having an unscheduled time can be very challenging for the current generation with all the distractions of social media that are constantly filling up people's days. But there is a significant return from having some unscheduled time in your diary. Takeaway 2. Being a generalist is a competitive advantage in the world of specialists. We're all familiar with the saying, "Jack of all trades, master of none." This saying indirectly tells us to be focused on just one venture alone and not dabble in others. Well, Professor Damodaran thinks otherwise. He shares that being a generalist is powerful in a world where everyone is a specialist. Having discovered early on that he was a dabber who was interested in many different things, he realized that being a specialist would not be a competitive advantage for him. Due to this, instead of specializing in a particular aspect of finance, he teaches corporate finance, investing, portfolio management, and investment philosophies, which are different topics requiring different backgrounds. Teaching all these has been advantageous to him, such that because he teaches valuation, he can look at a project in a company and do project analysis, and this helps him when he values companies. In other words, Professor Damodaran prides himself on being a general thinker, and he knows just enough to make himself dangerous to experts. Takeaway 3. Bitcoin is a currency for the paranoid, by the paranoid. Ever since we came to know about cryptocurrency, many individuals have gotten involved in investing or trading in the crypto exchange market. Just like other ventures, investing in crypto assets is quite risky, and you could lose all your money. In the interview, Professor Damodaran explained what he thinks about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. He looks at it as a currency built by the crowd and verified by the crowd. Speaking specifically about Bitcoin, he states that it's a crowd-checked and a crowd-tested currency. This means instead of a central bank, you have computer miners deciding whether your transaction should go through, and this reflects a complete absence of trust by the subset of the population. He stated an example of Bitcoin. One thing required in a currency is stability, which Bitcoin lacks. It could go up 20% during the day, so at least today, Bitcoin cannot act as a currency. Bonus takeaway: 2 most important emotions in investing. Professor Damodaran says regret and anger, or frustration, are the 2 most negative emotions in investing. He explained regret by looking back and saying, "I wish I had done that. I wish I had not done that." The sad thing is that regret does nothing for you, because the deed is done and you cannot do anything about it anymore. An example he shares is when he bought Tesla in June 2019, and over the next 6 months it went up 400%, and he sold it in January 2020. When he sold, Tesla enthusiasts pointed out how much money he left on the table for selling too soon because the price had gone up another tenfold. Instead of regretting his decision, he told them that he was fine with it, which is consistent with his philosophy that if something becomes significantly overvalued, it must be removed from his portfolio. Also, he believes anger is an emotion that's a waste of time and can damage one's investment portfolio by making one act irrationally. The role of luck. Another example Professor Damodaran shares was when he bought Apple in 1999 out of pity to support the company as a charitable contribution during its worst phase. This was when the computers were not selling, and he thought that he would help them because they had been good to him. He spent $5,000 buying Apple shares that he could later write off, but it turned out to be the best investment ever, which was never intended. That particular investment was based on emotions and not on intrinsic valuation. So we all need to be humble and accept that, to some extent, luck plays a role in both our successes and failures. There were many gems in this interview, and we won't be able to do justice to it in this short video. But for now, that's it from us. Let us know your comments below. Thanks for watching, and make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more such videos.